I have in my hand the universal remote control. This is designed for use with up to two devices, for example, a television and a satellite box. And what it means is this remote control can be trained to both turn on and off the TV and also operate a second device, such as a satellite receiver. It's available with low-cost postal option directly from freetv.ie, and the design of this has been to build in the codes for the full range of TVs and satellite receivers, particularly the most common ones, directly into the remote control to make it as simple, quick and easy as possible to program this up. So we have a user manual which covers, we'll say, the first choice option, the second choice option and a final choice option to get your remote to work with your TV or satellite receiver, and it's pretty straightforward in terms of how it's done. So you can get such universal remotes as this that are designed to be used with a single device as in a TV, two devices as in a television or a satellite receiver, and with 3 and 4 device versions as well. But certainly the 1 and 2 versions will be the most popular. So how do we go about it anyway? Well, the first thing we need to do is just consult the manual. So we'll look at our manual here and say, well, what they've done for us is they've listed the 10 most popular types of TVs sold in Ireland or the UK. And what they've done then is they've allocated a number code for each one of them. So 1 will say will correspond to Bosch, 3 for LG, 8 for Sony. And then in the area of the satellite things, 1 would have been the Skybox, and we'll say it would come down here for a Humax box would be number 6, things like this. So it's giving a lot of flexibility in terms of what it'll work with. So armed with that, we can follow the steps that are in step 1 here, which is the simplest setup list. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to tell the remote control, we're now going to proceed and try to set you up to work with a particular television. So what we'll do is we hold down the magic button, which I'm going to show here. We hold down the magic button and it'll flash twice in a moment now. And now we can use the mode button to flick and say, is it a satellite or a TV box we're trying to set up? And we'll say it's a TV we're trying to come to. And we'll say Sony we're going to try to use. So what I'll do now is I'll press the button number 8 and I aim it directly at the TV. And I can hold it for up to 36 seconds. And what's going to happen is now, it's going through a whole series of codes and saying, are you Sony television? And then it has a 4-digit code for that particular TV, is saying, is this one? It pushes that signal out. And if the television turns off, you can release the button immediately at that point. And what it'll say is, hang on, the guy's released the button and he knows that. So the last code I tried must be the correct one for this particular TV. And it'll save the last code into memory. And suddenly, your remote control is paired for your TV. So if you work all the way through the 36 seconds and it hasn't paired at that point, you'll have to move on to the next step. But in the vast majority of cases, because all the codes have been programmed in here, it'll work automatically on that. So the full setup time from putting your batteries in, to coming along, setting the mode thing and shooting your TV in will be less than 60 seconds, okay? Be very, very quick. Now, if that doesn't work, you're on then to the next graphic here, which says, well, what you need to do now is you need to come along, you need to press the magic button as before, you say that you're trying to tune in the TV again, and now you need to enter in a particular code, okay? So on this thing here, what we'll do is we'll go to the codes in the back here. So what we've included is an index of all the main TV codes here, and they're listed alphabetically, and it just works through, and it has the same for satellite here as well, okay? So you can come along, and what you're doing here is you're entering the codes in. So once again, it'll be magic mode, and you come along, and now we'll enter directly the code. So I'm going to go to the back here, I'll just pick a TV at random. So we'll go for the gold star here, so it'll be 0037. So I'll just simply enter 0037 while I'm aiming this directly at the remote control. And what I can do now is I can hit the power off button, and if it turns off the TV, we know that code is correct, okay? If it doesn't turn off the thing, what we'll need to do is we'll just need to repeat these steps over again with the next code that's listed for Gold Star. So we'll have gone through all the Gold Star remote controls here. So that's a bit more laborious. Normally though, particularly if one of the 10 most popular TVs, it'll have it here. So that will say, hopefully at this point you'll be successful, you'll have programmed it in for the TV. And what you're doing now is you're just going to repeat exactly the same steps for the satellite receiver. So you're pressing the magic button, you bring it up, you go to the mode, you're choosing satellite, and all of a sudden now we'll say you have a Humax. So you press button 6, you hold it for up to 36 seconds, you aim it towards it, and if it turns off, you release the button, it'll save it in. And now it says, I know it's a Sony TV, and I know it is a Humax remote control. Now there is a final last-ditch attempt, if all else is failing, which is the search mode, where it's literally saying, set it up, hold down the button, it keeps trying codes over and over again. You don't want to do the search method unless you absolutely have to, because it's slow and laborious. But you just hold down the button until the thing eventually thinks. You know, the reason that remote controls are so fantastic and people have put such effort into these things here is, think about it, we'll say, if you own a television, you lose the remote control, and you go back to the manufacturer may come along and charge you 50, 60 bucks for a remote control, okay? Which you probably don't want to do, and when you get it, it might definitely work with your television, okay? Something like this, and the alternative of not doing that is simply throwing out your TV or buying a new one. Where if you go for a remote control like this, it will work with your TV, okay? It'll work with your setup here. You'll have a much more convenient setup here where you have both a TV and the set-top box all being worked from the one remote control, and it's a reasonably quick and neat solution to it. So that's why I would say we were Googling around, seeing if anybody else bothered to do the videos on these things here, and then what we did is we gave the remote controls out to some of our customers and some of our staff, and we just went home and tried to program them in, and invariably it worked, and we were up and running within 60 seconds, and we said, well, this is great. So we expanded out from the simple range where we're just doing our remote control that work 1 to devices that work 2, and we've added in the manual one here. So hopefully with the guidance of the video you can go straight through it, but if not, you have the manual thing here, the guide as well, particularly with the codes, all the rest of it, and it just provides a great solution, I believe anyway, in relation to getting a universal remote control that'll work 2 devices.